Hi guys, welcome back to the final and the third part of this video of research proposal. So here we will discuss the entire part which is left out. So starting from operational definition of the terms that is used. So after framing your hypothesis, you will also have to mention the operational definitions of the term that is used in your research. So all types of research involve certain technical or operational terms or key that may have some specific meaning with respect to the particular context of the study. Thus, it becomes very important to define the operational definition of such terms. So operational definition means ascribing the meaning to a concept or term or variable or phenomenon by specifying the operations that must be performed in order to measure that particular concept, term, variable or phenomena. Say for example, the word educational experience may have various meanings. However, the operational definition may be defined as the teaching learning activities carried out within the school premises. So here the researcher wants to only explore the teaching learning activities that is carried out within the school premises of the educational experience. So we all know that educational experience can be various. It can also include the other extracurricular and co-curricular activities as well as the home assignments and all. But here the researcher only wants to explore a particular type of component within the educational experience, that is the teaching learning activities that is carried out within the school premises. So this is one kind of operational definitions of the term that is used. So likewise, you will have to define the operational definition of the terms that you are going to use in your research. Next is the research methodology. So this is the most important part of any type of research. So within the research methodology, you will have to write down all these aspects. So these are the components which you have to write down within the research methodology. So the first and the foremost is the nature of the research. So you have to write down the nature of your study, that is whether it is quantitative, qualitative or mixed method research. And next is you will also have to write down the research design. That is, what kind of research are you going to use? Whether it is a cross-sectional research, longitudinal research, experimental research, case study research, grounded theory research, phenomenological research, or any other type of research that you are proposing to use. After that, you will also have to write down the variables that you are going to study. That is, here you have to mention the dependent variable and the independent variable. Next, you will also have to write down the population. So here you will have to write down the entire district or region or community that you are proposing to do the research on. Next, you will also have to write down the sample. So here you will have to write down how much percentage of the population you are going to use as a sample. Next, you will also have to write down the sampling technique that you are going to use. So you have to mention here the type of sampling technique that you are proposing to use for your research. So there are various type of sampling techniques such as probability sampling technique and non-probability sampling technique. So you will have to write down the exact type of probability or non-probability sampling technique that you are going to use. Next is you will also have to mention the tools that you are going to use. So whether it is a standardized tool already developed by someone else or it is a self-constructed tool, so you will have to mention all that. That is the questionnaire or interview or attitude scale or any other observation schedule. So you will have to mention all that. After that, in case if you're using a self-constructed tool, you will also have to explain the self-constructed tool. So here you will have to write down the number of items of your tool. So in case of attitude scale, what are the number of items, or in case of MCQ, what are the number of items and the internal options within that. And in case of attitude scale, you will also have to mention the number of positive as well as the negative items that you have framed. Next is the type of scale to be used. So you will also have to mention that whether it is a nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval or ratio scale. Next is you will also have to write down the data collection method or technique. That is, if you are going to use a technique of pre-test or post-test, or whether face-to-face interview or through electronics media such as emails or Google Forms. So you will have to write down those as well. So while writing down the data collection, make sure that you also mention the ethical consideration of your data collection. Next is the types of data. So here you have to mention that what type of data you are going to use. Say for example, if you want to collect the quantitative data through attitude scale or MCQ questionnaire and the qualitative data collected through open-ended questionnaire or narratives. So these are some of the examples of the types of data that you are going to use by using certain kinds of tools. Next is you will also have to mention the data analysis tools that you are going to use. So examples are these Microsoft Excel or SPSS or any other coding frames or manuals that you are going to use. Coming to the next, that is the significance of the study. So within the significance of the study, what you have to write is, you have to mention the expected future importance of your research findings. So you have to explain what solutions your study may offer to the community or the funding body. Next is, how does it helps in filling the research gaps. Next is, you have to mention its possible implications in the respective field of your research. So I will show some examples. That is, the study attempts to document the life of certain ethnic groups that has never been done before. And next is, the study aims to bring change in the educational or administrative system through the proposed research model. So if you are proposing a research model, then you can mention that this model is very new and not been exercised before, and it will help to bring change in certain educational or administrative system or whatever system you are going to offer for the study. So this is some examples of how you can frame the significance of your study. So coming to the next, that is the motivation towards the study. So within the motivation, you will have to mention what inspired you to take up that particular research topic. Next is, you can also include any experiences that lead you to take up the study. Next, you can also include any services that you want to offer to your community or to that particular community where you want to do your research through your findings. Next is any unanswered questions that you want to explore that motivated you for the study. So these are some of the examples of how you can frame your motivation towards the study. Now you have to remember certain things, that is, in case of master degree dissertation and research proposal for PhD admission, one does not necessarily have to mention about the time schedule and the budget estimation. So these two aspects are not mandatory if you are framing a research proposal for your master degree dissertation or your PhD admission. However, in case of developing a research proposal for a PhD research scholar, that means someone who has already been admitted in the PhD and is supposed to submit the research proposal. So in that case, he or she will have to include the time schedule and budget estimation as part of the research proposal. So this was all about the main body. Now let us move on to the last section, that is the referencing section. So within the referencing section, you will have to write down the references that you have used, or you can also write down the bibliography of the research. So references you can write down according to the referencing style prescribed by the particular department or institutions. So there is various types of referencing style such as MLA style and APS style. So mostly in educational research, we use APS style of referencing. But whenever you are using the APS style, make sure that you are using the latest edition of APS style. Next is, within the appendix, what you can include is any tools, whether standardized or self-constructed, that you wish to use for your research. And next is, if you are doing any experiment, then you can also give the manuals in the appendix section. So guys, this is the end of the final part, that is the part 3 of the research proposal. Now that you know all the 3 parts of a research proposal, I hope that through this video you will get some idea of how you can develop your research proposal for your PhD admission and your master degree dissertation, especially in the area of social sciences and humanities research. So thank you guys for watching till the end, and if you think that these videos are helpful to you or beneficial to you, then do let me know in the comment section below. So take care guys, and see you all in my next video.